Welcome to another episode of My Brother's Video Podcast. I am your host, Eric the Fact Checker. That is F-A-C-T and not F-A-T. I am here with my brothers today. I always get a smile on their face. We are here to talk about the vote. And before we get into that topic, I want to go ahead and at least say, please hit that subscribe button, hit that share button, leave some comments, and always hit the notification bell so you know that when a new video comes out, you are notified. We dropping every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Pacific time. So with that, I want to get right into the introductions of my brothers and just kind of see how their weekend was. We're going to start with the Crooner. Crooner, talk to me. What was your weekend like, baby?
It was a good weekend. Good weekend. I enjoyed myself, but I'm getting tired of being locked up, man. But you got to be safe. You got to be safe.
Locked up as in the house or locked up as in prison?
You know me, I like to be out there and singing and all that kind of stuff. And
you talking about quarantined?
all I can do now is just sing through the videos. I mean, sing, man, I'm the, I'm the reaction. I get in your face,
Yeah.
Can't get nobody face now. No telling what they got, man. Shoot.
Hey, go ahead.
Heebie-jeebie.
What's that, Doc?
Heebie-jeebie.
Doc didn't care. He just started wearing a mask like Trump like 2 weeks ago.
Exactly. So, Doc, how was your weekend, bro?
Our weekend was great. Got my work on. I had this weekend off. My Monday was off, so it was beautiful. So I'm here with my brothers, having a conversation with my brothers, and let's get it in.
Word, Donald, talk to me. What was your weekend like, bro?
What's up? Great weekend. It's going to be the redundancy, basketball on Saturday, fussing at kids, praising the Lord on Sunday.
Amen.
Oh, still strapped, though. Let's not get it twisted.
Amen. Also,
yo,
what's up, bro?
What it is, this is Edwin Old Soul right here. I had a quiet weekend. I actually had to work Sunday. Other than that, yeah. Other than that, man, I just had a quiet weekend. Just did some stuff around the house with the wifey and all of that. And can I shout out my wife? Today's her birthday. So I just want to put that out there. Happy birthday.
I was going to mention that, but since you did, and I'm glad you did.
I got to go first. I mean,
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Come on.
What's your wife's name?
I said it. I texted her already. I'm good.
I bet
So
you
did
did.
I'm good, too.
My wife's name, we're going to call her Princess. We're going to call her Princess.
Birthday, Princess.
I thought he was gonna do that.
Happy birthday, Princess.
Break it
Happy
down.
birthday, Princess. Happy birthday to you.
All right.
Birthday
That was good.
All right.
Get that Stevie Wonder version. Come on, Crooner.
Hey, you make sure you show your wife this section, okay?
No doubt.
All
That's
right,
get out
all
of jail
right.
free card right there.
Oh, comedian, what's up, baby? How you doing, man?
I'm good, brother. I had a good weekend, man. I did a private comedy show for about 12 people Saturday night, and then Friday I just chilled, and then Sunday I'm working on a new show, a YouTube show. It's called Eat Out More Often, and it's about me going out and just going to different places that I like and kind of evaluating the food and talk about it from my perspective. Because I like food, I like to cook, I like to eat. So I thought it was just something natural for me, just to do. I see a lot of people doing it, but I think I got a different perspective. My first place I went to was a place called Domo Pizza.
Domo.
I thought it was Korean.
I was thinking Japanese.
So was I. And I talked about that too. I was like, it's Domo, because the dude that owned it was Korean.
Okay.
So he said, well, actually, Domo was a place he went to in Italy where they had this certain type of Neapolitan pizza.
Right.
So he named it that. So that's what I did this week. So it was fun. It was my first show. I'm just kind of roughing it right now. I just want to feel it out. And then I'm going to get around and see. So if you got some places you got recommend for me to go check out, let me know.
All right, well, I'll tell you this. Go ahead, Donald.
I was going to say, come on, D'Alessandro's. Come on the East Coast, get this cheesesteak.
I'm going to check that out. Absolutely.
Donald and I was just talking about being food critics or movie critics, bro.
He sure was.
We might have to do a triple on that. Hey, my weekend, my weekend was good, man. Let me tell you something. Quite honestly, my wife and I, we've been watching this Trump thing, bro. Trump done caught COVID. I had to pause for a moment. I'm going to say it again. Trump done caught the vid. He done caught the COVID. What? Now, here's my question to y'all. Is he real? Is he faking it?
Lying.
Is that
I know
distraction?
I know you're gonna edit that out, but I'm telling you right now, he lying.
You know what? It's a distraction again to get away from this taxes. Okay, it's a distraction. I'm telling you, who gets the COVID and 2 days later they up
He
walking
going
around
home.
like it's
He
cool.
going home.
He going home.
30.
Like
He
it's
going
cool.
home.
I'm gonna tell you right now. If it wasn't him, and I understand why people so skeptical,
If it wasn't him, right?
but this dude, so many other people got it too.
Yes.
I know these other people. They're not saying it. They pissed.
Mm.
Yeah, yes, they're like
They gotta be.
walk around. They say, "Here, you are blessed. You are blessed." Man,
That's
I
ridiculous.
believe it's true, to be quite honest, but I know these people that's so-called supporting him, like his press secretary. She always twists his stuff. She can't twist nothing no more, man.
No, right?
Hey,
Nah,
listen, a half truth is a whole lie. And that's all she does is tells half truth.
I mean, they all, man, he hits so many people up, man. I'm like,
Listen, I'm
But you
telling you
know-
right now.
You know what I said though? My quote was, "It couldn't happen to a better person."
So he's talking about natural.
If somebody need to get it and figure it out, he need to get it.
that guy, like, man.
Yeah.
Natural selection is what you're
God
saying.
don't like
Natural
ugly,
selection.
He sure don't like Trump. So,
Hey,
Goodness.
Edwin, is it real or is it fake? What is he real or is he faking it? Which one?
He's faking, man. He's lying.
yeah.
Lying like he always been lying.
You know what? Also,
He ain't telling the truth on this one.
now, you know, also, you got to do this. He's the president. He going to have the best medical ever stuff. He got stuff that we can't get no parts of.
Right.
Hey, I'm
He-
sorry. I know he asked Edwin, but I don't give a damn if he's from Mars. His body is still his body. He can't
Right.
react.
He human.
His body
He
don't
a
react
human
that
being.
way. I don't care
Listen.
what kind of drug you want.
Is it
Come on,
just a
man.
coincidence that he contracted it right after what they call a debate? I mean, is
And,
that just a coincidence?
and the tax situation is very coincidental, isn't it?
But you know, man, they got all kinds of uppers they can shoot you up with, make you feel like you just doing normal, man.
But wait a minute. Okay, let me say this. My friend, I just did the show Friday night, right?
That's a great
He
drug.
had, wait, listen. He had the coronavirus. This is what he said. He said his body got so hot, right? He was driving back from Arizona. He had to strip down almost naked because the drive back to California was 5 hours. He didn't know he had the virus, but he got so hot that he had to take all his clothes. He said he couldn't breathe. He said it was terrible, bruh. He said it was, that experience, he said, was terrible. I ain't heard nothing like that.
Exactly.
How old is he?
You know
How
what?
old is he?
You never will.
27 years old.
Okay, there you go. Trump
27.
74. Come on, man.
Hey,
Come on,
that's
man.
my point. That's my point.
Right. That
That
nigga
is
is
my
still in the
point.
hospital.
27.
Y'all.
27.
Hold on.
Why y'all gonna believe him now? He ain't never told the truth.
Okay. I just want to hear what Leon had to say.
You got a point.
I think we all agree.
Don't have to open his mouth, he lying.
Okay. I'm gonna make this last point. I'll make this last point.
Go ahead.
You know how you know when Trump is lying? When his mouth is moving.
There it is. Man, he was the worst.
All right, listen. First thing came to my mind. Look, he like the boy who cried wolf too many times.
Mhm.
You feel me?
I
And
agree with you.
I think a lot of people are like, yeah, this ain't.
Believe me.
He
The timing.
yeah. As far as I'm concerned, he's using it as a distraction. He's trying to find a way to
Horrible.
get this vote back and get people in his corner, man. And I don't know. Listen. As long as he's capable of
And
surviving.
if he do beat it right, just to say if he beats it, if he beats this so-called coronavirus that he's supposed to have, is that going to like uplift his votes? Is that what he's looking for to do?
Sympathy. He's looking for the sympathy vote.
Right. I think he's trying to find a way to say, you know what? I had it. I had the best coronavirus ever. Nobody had corona like I had. It was the greatest coronavirus anybody ever had. And I got through it. And if I can get through it, you can get through it.
You can get through it.
You know what I'm saying? He kind of flipped the game. because
Hey,
he knew
hey,
he-
fact checker. That's great.
Hold on, Donald, before you say something. Marina Comedy, that was about the worst Trump impression I ever heard, but it was hilarious.
I ain't no impressionist now.
No, it was hilarious.
It'd be the greatest,
And man,
greatest coronavirus ever.
I thought I was good Trump for a minute, man. Go ahead.
What's that?
I just
I thought
fact
that was
checker.
listening to, not Marina Comedy.
Go ahead, Donald.
Nah, I was gonna say, pull up the tweet that he just tweeted out to
Oh,
the American people.
nah,
Pull it up.
I ain't got time. We ain't got time for the day.
Okay, because I was gonna say, because he told the American people, hey, I had it. It's not that bad. Don't be afraid of it.
There it is.
Yeah. That what he said?
That's what he said.
He gonna say it.
He told the American people, 200,000 people done died.
Hey,
Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of it.
You know what? I'm gonna say this. All right. I'm not trying to be cynical, but I'm gonna say this. If he's speaking to his base, don't worry about it. Guess who's gonna be affected? Mostly his base.
the base, right?
So hey.
Wait, Leon. 15 people in his cabinet have gotten the coronavirus. 15 people in his surroundings have gotten it. 15.
Yeah, Christy had got it. The boy from Jersey, Christy had caught it.
We know a lot of people caught it. All I'm telling you, you the watcher who watching us.
Yes.
We don't believe the hype.
No,
We think he's faking it. We think he's faking it. Quite honestly, we think he's really trying to get a sympathy vote. We don't believe him. As a matter of fact, even if he did have it, we still don't believe him because he lied. So you don't know what to believe.
Yeah, right. He kept on crying. Wolf.
I'll go on record saying I'm the one that's standing out amongst us. I believe he has it.
Okay. Truder believes he has it.
I don't believe the fraud.
You gotta
stop this man.
When he comes smack you in the face, then you won't believe it. There you go. You just gotta take the smack. Pow! Okay. Hey, no, all right. So listen. Let's go ahead and talk about a lot of people talking about Vote 2020.
Yes.
And voting is important. In 2016, obviously Donald went away and he won the Electoral College, but Hillary she won the general populist vote. And so first off, did y'all all vote in 2016?
I did.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I guess the better question is, anybody vote for Trump in 2016? Nah,
No.
I'm just done with
Wait. Oh, wait. I'm sorry. He did.
Who that? Dan Marino?
That's Dan Marino. He voted for Donald Trump.
I can like Marino too.
Is it? Hey, Edward,
Not anymore.
I don't like him or Herschel Walker now. Goddamn.
Oh my God.
Is that a fact, Donald? Is that a fact you making light of him?
Nah, that's true.
Oh, so you can't get a break.
I lied.
We don't know if that's a fact.
That's what I'm asking. Is it a fact or is it true? So I have
Listen.
Check that
I'm
fact
going to
checker.
lean this. I'm going to. You can't check that fact checker. I can just tell you what I know. They the same persuasion.
All right, look. So here's my first question, right? Voting. Y'all voted 2016. I voted 2016, of course. Electoral college versus general vote. What are your thoughts? Should we as a country stay with the electoral college process, or should we really go to the general populist vote?
Well,
who want to start off?
in, right? I'll start off.
Go ahead.
In my opinion, if we go with the popular vote, then obviously it's a popularity contest, right? It's not always going to be the most qualified. Now, of course, what they need to do, in my opinion, with the electoral college is make it more fair. Countries, states that have, 4, 5, 6, 7 million people, why are they getting the same electoral vote as people in South Dakota? So I think they need to modify it. But I don't like the idea of the popular vote always winning, because we would have had some idiots if that.
So let's talk about that. I would disagree. So let's talk about that real quick. What do you say the popular vote? The popular vote is basically each person has a vote that's counted, right?
Correct.
And so you feel like if each person has a vote that's counted, some people will vote in the wrong person? I'm confused. Explain that to me.
Well, all right. So let's think about it in this perspective, right? You have a candidate, they get the popular vote, may not be qualified, maybe he has the right personality, or Ronald Reagan, right, versus Al Gore. You remember Al Gore won the popular vote and lost to George Bush.
Mm-hmm.
Ronald Reagan came in there off the backs of Jimmy Carter. He won the vote right? Because of his popularity, because he was a movie theater, a movie. It's like if Oprah put Oprah's name on that ticket, she would win, even though she's not qualified. I think the Electoral College was set up in such a manner that it shouldn't have been able to be manipulated the way it was or the way it has been over the last 20 years. I think they just have to modify the Electoral College based on the number of people per each state. So that's just my opinion.
So go ahead, Leon.
With you till you mentioned the word qualified, and I'm gonna say, uh-oh.
So no, I guess my question is this, because I that concept. First of all, I've never heard that it presented to me in that way. I see the Electoral College not giving everyone a vote, right? In other words, it doesn't give everyone a potentially a voice, given the way that there's been a lot of gerrymandering with the districts, right?
Right.
And because ultimately what happens with gerrymandering is that these districts become more lopsided, and they're lopsided, right? And so now individuals are capable of voting based on Electoral College. So with the popular vote, each individual gets a voice, whether or not whether or not they made the right decision or not. It's truly their vote as opposed to the Electoral College.
Let me touch on that.
Yeah, I'm curious. Yeah.
Well, I kind of view they created the Electoral College to make it fair. That's what it was supposed to be, because small states didn't have representation in the popular vote, right? So they made the electoral vote. But let's think about what they're doing now. They're manipulating it, like you said. They manipulate. What Trump did was strategic to win. He put the efforts in the states that had the most electoral votes, right? And that's why he could lose the popular vote by 2 million and still win, because of just what you're talking about. This strategy of what they're doing now. They're just strategizing for the votes. It's not who's the best or the best qualified. It's who knows how to work the system now. And that's just my opinion. Go ahead.
Let's just be honest, right? The gerrymandering, what party you think has benefited over the life of the gerrymandering? The Democratic Party, right? So the last few years, that gerrymandering has been something that the Democrats use. It's Hillary's fault that she lost, because she didn't go to Michigan, because she didn't go to Ohio, because she didn't go to Pennsylvania. Had she went to any one of those places, she would have won the Electoral College. I believe in Michigan, and the fact checker can check this. I believe she lost by like 25,000 or 30,000 votes.
And that's you're right, brother. Think about this. If Black people would have voted in 2016, it would have been a landslide. The states that he pulled the electoral votes from, he won by some less than 50,000 votes. Some was less than 100,000. And that 100,000 cost her like 60 electoral votes. 60 or 50, something in that crazy neighborhood. You know what I mean?
So
that's what happened. That's what happened.
Did she lose it because she didn't go to Michigan? Maybe.
Yes.
Yes. Maybe. Because listen, visiting.
She thought she had it. She thought she had it won.
No, I don't disagree. My point is
all the polls said she had it. All those 3 states won. All those polls.
Well, first of all, let's all agree.
I was like the Eagles beat the 49ers last night.
You can't believe the polls. You can't believe the polls. We all, agree. But you can't believe.
But the funny thing about that is, I tracked it, and I kept warning people.
You called it.
It kept saying, and all the news media outlets that lean to our side, basically programmed our people that she was going to win easily. So the folks that needed to vote didn't go out there to vote.
Based on the polls.
Just to piggyback
based on the polls.
That's right.
Just to piggyback on that, Donald, I tend to agree with you on that one. Just as a small example, out in my area, going closer to the suburban part of the area, mostly was Republican. All you saw was Donald Trump signs, right? But all Hillary did was, since we work in and I frequent Center City, Hillary Clinton basically had her base in Center City, which meant she based herself towards the white collar instead of the blue collar. So right then and there, the demographic right there of what she assumed that she had, she didn't. When in reality, she needed to be in those blue collar areas. She needed to be in that suburban area. And that's just a small scrape of what you were talking about, just to piggyback off of that, Donald.
You know, Eric has lost that, man.
Yes, I agree with that.
Yeah, but listen, we can talk about Hillary and Donald all day. My point is that my point though is that the electoral versus the general vote, she won the populist vote.
Right.
Meaning that there are people who believe Hillary should have won, but because of the electoral college, she did not.
Well, like Kevin said, electoral college is developed. It came in development to make it fair.
Yes.
Because before that, Vance, I'm sorry. Before that,
fact check. And that's FA. I mean,
FAT. FAT. Oh, FACT.
States that were voting, and they didn't need votes from North or South Dakota because it was already won.
Yeah.
They said, we don't need you, and they felt left out. Like, hey, what am I? Once you got California, Illinois,
Texas,
Philadelphia,
Texas, you got it. You got it.
That's it. The other these states ain't got Montana, man.
Vermont,
yeah,
New Hampshire, yeah, yes.
I mean, only Kobe Puckett and Princess in Minnesota.
I think it's all relevant, fact checker. So I think that people don't want Biden to go down the same role or apply the same principles in the last election that Hillary did. I think that's the whole point.
Yeah, I agree. I'm sure people don't want Biden to go down that route, and I doubt Biden will go down that route. But also, given COVID, there's not a lot of traveling, so he's just touching places. I mean, this is a whole different way of approaching how you go out and market yourself, right? I guess the point I was making is electoral versus the general vote is that with the general vote, each person vote actually counts.
I know you listen,
but it won't be fair.
You keep.
Hold on. Let me finish my thought.
Okay.
Each person's actual vote actually counts. As far as electoral college is concerned, each person's vote does not.
Well,
count.
this is
now. Hold on. We can agree to disagree. That's just my perspective, right? Like, if you were to ask me, do you want general versus electoral? I would say general vote so that each person's vote counts, period, right? It's not about because you have a majority of votes in a said state that now you in the electoral college. No, that means that everybody's vote does not necessarily count as a whole when it comes to voting. That's my perspective, right? We may see it differently, but that's my perspective. With that said, I just want to talk about it because, hopefully, I mean, there's a lot of gerrymandering going back and forth.
Well, let's get into holding the vote.
They playing the system.
I think it's going to tie right in if we talk about
Yeah. So
that's a perfect segue.
Yeah, let's talk about hold your vote. There are people talking about right now, I'm going to hold my vote because they're not happy with the candidate selection. So, first of all, what's your opinion on hold your vote?
Please let me go.
And I'll follow him.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
My opinion with that is exactly what happened in 2016. A vote held is a vote for Trump to me. Trump, the reason he's trying to slow down the mail and the mail-in votes and all that, because he knows the fewer people vote, the better chance he got to win. The more people vote, it's definitely going to be on in Biden's place. Now, you got to think about this, holding your vote. What does it really mean? If you hold your vote, it just does not affect the presidential election. It affects, do you know that Donald Trump has appointed more judges to the bench than any other president in the history of the United States?
Mm-hmm.
Not just talking about the Supreme Court. I'm talking about districts.
Mm-hmm.
What he's doing is putting light-thinking people like himself, who we perceive to be a problem. So if you get in trouble, or your people get in trouble, and they go before this judge who thinks like that, you are affected. Whether you realize it or not, you are affected.
Mm-hmm.
And you holding your vote affects long-term generations of people. And you got to start thinking about that. You just can't think it's just about this election and who's the better or who's the worst. But you hold your vote, it affects long-term, man. It's not just, and if he continues, he gets 4 more years, what is the judicial system going to look like in the United States? He's making a mockery of it right now.
Mm.
I'm out.
Hold on. So Donald, I think you want to go next, but I wanted to comment on that. You're right. If you don't vote now, what is the world going to look like in 4 years? You might not even be able to vote, period. Go ahead, Donald. What was you going to say?
Okay, so I've had this debate in my family. I've had this debate on Facebook. I've had this debate with individuals who did not like Hillary Clinton. Now they don't like Joe Biden. They were Bernie Sanders or Jill Stein. So we've had this conversation, right? And the conversation that I've had, I've tried to convince them that there's really a binary choice, right? There's really we have multiple parties, but in America there's a binary choice. You have a Republican and Democrat. No third party is going to win. But holding your vote or abstaining from voting is essentially a vote for Donald Trump. And their logic is, well, who are you to tell me what I should do with my vote? And my issue is not like, I'm not saying that my opinion is the right opinion, but there's binary choices. And you got to be careful because the argument is like, oh, well, I got to choose lesser of the two evils. And this is the issue they say, right? In my mind, evil is evil. Regardless of what side of the aisle you're on, evil is evil. The lesser of two evils. No, what you try to do is understand what does that person's platform, does that person's platform represent who you are as an individual? Is it closer? So you abstaining because you want free college, because you want the Green New Deal, but you can't have all those things, but you're pro-choice. You might even be anti-gun.
So the argument,
interesting.
I'm sorry. So the argument is that, yeah, we if we don't vote right now, we're gonna force this issue at hand in another 4 years, right?
And it never pans out.
No, we're not. No, we're not.
Yeah, it never pans out, and that's the discussion. So one of my friends, close family members, I asked him point blank, "Are you voting this year? Because you already saw what happens." You know what he said? He said, "No, I'm not voting because you all, including me, y'all deserve a president like Donald Trump."
Wow.
Yeah, right.
That's what he said. And he wasn't even, and this is a 55-year-old individual who has Obamacare, who benefits from the Democratic Party. He said, it's your fault. You got Trump.
So, Doc, what do you think about this, bro? Hold your vote. What does it mean?
Well, on that vibe, I'm looking at it as if you hold the vote, then you're not doing anything for anybody. I mean, you're just being negative instead of being positive. I think you should go out there and vote, but then you have to also look at the two characters that's involved in the situation and who has a better vote for each person. So, I mean, as far as looking at what Donald Trump is doing, I mean, I'm darn sure not going to vote for him. And what Biden has done, and you hear some things about what he has done in the past. So it's like, you're weighing yourself, saying like, well, that happened then, but what's happening now with Donald Trump? So I think I'm gonna go a little bit closer to Biden than I definitely wouldn't go with Trump.
There it is.
Also,
I'm going to give you my answer based on some historical content, if you guys bear with me for a second, and I'll give you my answer. But it says, and this is about the Voting Rights Bill of 1965, that people might not be familiar with, okay? After the Civil War, the 15th Amendment, ratified in 1870, prohibited states from denying male citizens the right to vote based on race, color, or previous condition of servitude. Nevertheless, in ensuing decades, various discriminatory practices were used to prevent African Americans, particularly those in the South, from exercising their vote. Now, to close with this, there was also literally tests given out. Black people attempting to vote often were told by election officials that they had gotten the date, time, or polling place wrong, that they had possessed insufficient literacy skills, or that they had filled out the application incorrectly. Black people whose population suffered a high rate of literacy due to centuries of oppression and poverty often would be forced to take literacy tests when they sometimes fail. Also, to close, if people aren't familiar with the late Senator John Lewis, the march from Selma to Montgomery, that was what they were marching for. That day was known as Black Sunday. And they were marching for voting rights. So with all of that said and tied up, for me, it's my duty to vote, okay? And I'm going to piggyback off of what the preacher said, because you have to find something in there, a platform that helps you, but not to vote. To me, my parents aren't here anymore, my great-grandparents, my ancestors that were involved in stuff like that, who had to turn on the TV and watch Selma and watch people getting beaten over the head with billy clubs. And now we have the luxury. We have luxuries that those people died for, okay, as well as the late Senator John Lewis. So it is our duty for our souls, okay, to vote. I mean, that hold to vote, to me, that don't get it, because to me, that's like kicking dirt. That's kicking dirt in people's face. Our ancestors that died for us, that marched for us, that walked for us, that gives us the privileges and the rights to do it. So for me, I'm definitely voting.
Word. Crooner.
Voting. Just what he just said, man. Everything he said. My parents, it was a duty you had to do, because so many people in our life didn't have the chance to vote, and what was turned around from voting. So you had to vote. In my father's house, you had to vote. Seriously, that's just that simple.
So for you, hold your vote is what?
It's just silly. It don't make no sense, man. All it's gonna do is just hurt us as a people. But people got their own agendas, man. You know.
Yeah. Baller, we were asking the question, how do you feel about the terminology hold your vote?
I think if you quote unquote hold your vote, not vote, I'm looking the other way, I'm not doing nothing on November 3rd, that's a disservice to our fathers and mothers that took those beatings for us to get where we are today. A disservice, you know, because I've had friends say that exact same thing to me, you know, and some of them couldn't give me a clear reason as to why. Right. Well, the reason I would get was both of those guys are not worth voting for. I get you. But a vote not made is a vote for that Republican Party. I'm just calling a spade, being 100 with you. You know, and a lot of people say, you know, well, what's Biden going to do? To me, Biden was part of an intricate part of history with our first Black president. Now he's going to be, in my opinion, a president with the first Black vice president. So, you know, the Black women in our household always in your ear, you going to do this, and I told you what to do this. So to me, Kamala's going to be like, listen, Biden, we ain't doing that. It ain't going to be beneficial. So to me, he has that input. And of course, I feel Obama is going to be some type of consultant during his term. Yeah. You know, so that's how I feel about it.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Yo.
I have a question.
Let me make this real comment real fast. My household, we be watching the different candidates talk. And first time when Biden said, you ain't Black if you don't vote for me, I said, he need to shut the F up. He need to just shut the F up. Don't let him say nothing else. Please don't talk, Biden. Please don't talk. Just shut up.
Yeah, he stepped out of the box on that one.
Because trust me, Kamala was like, nah, that's something you shouldn't have said, brother.
I just want to, well, I was telling this to Carl just the other day. I just need Biden to stay alive, number one. Yep. And number two, Kamala Harris is Indian and Jamaican. She's not African American. So she is a woman of color, but she's not a Black woman. Mm-hmm. I just wanted to point that out in case you didn't know. Indian from her mom is from India, and her dad is Jamaican.
So we're going let's transition into that, because so that was my question. That was actually my next question I wanted to ask you all. And before I say that, hold your vote for me is crazy, right? Here's the reality of it. Someone said, and I believe this wholeheartedly, like if you don't play politics, politics will play you. Bottom line, right? And if you talk about you gonna hold your vote, you ain't playing politics, because we need to get this office back. And then we need to vote down ticket as well, right? In order to really make some effective efforts. So that's my opinion on it. But I want to segue into the Kamala, because that's one of my questions, right? The pros and cons of Kamala on the ticket. A lot of people, excuse me, and I'm saying Kamala, a lot of people felt that Stacey Abrams should have been that selection, and weren't necessarily happy about Kamala Harris being that selection. And so I like to get your opinions, fellas, pros and cons. Like, you know, are there any cons? First of all, are there any cons to Kamala being on this ticket? That's my first question. Donald, since you talked about Kamala, go ahead.
Be honest with you, I wouldn't have chose her. I don't like her. I'm going to vote Democratic in spite of her. Who I wanted as his running mate was Keisha Lance Bottoms. Someone
from Florida, right?
from Atlanta,
Georgia,
right? Well, I mean, you know, Georgia, Atlanta, but she's somebody that kind of reminded me of President Obama.
Right.
I didn't want a career politician. The Stacey Abrams, career politician. Kamala Harris, mass incarceration of Black people under her watch. So no, I didn't like her. I mean, it's not going to deter my vote. It just frustrated me because I wanted him to really go out of the box.
Yeah, say that again though. It won't deter your vote from voting.
It will not deter my vote. No.
That was a political move.
Because Pence, I don't want anything to happen to Trump because Pence is 10 times worse.
Mm-hmm.
So stay healthy, Trump.
Right. Doc, any cons on Kamala that you can think of?
Not that I can think of. I mean, I just heard some bad things about her, but I don't know of her. I didn't do any research on her to know some of the things that she's done, so I can't give you a good answer on that.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I'm going to vote Democratic all the way down the line, but I don't have any true stories about her at all. I mean, I heard about some bad things about her, about locking up all the Black people, but that's about it.
Okay. Also,
I'm more of a pro when it comes to Kamala. Again, I'm not too much versed in her background, but I do know some of her background when she was Attorney General in California, some of the immigration bills that she tried to fight for. And of course, you know, policing and stuff like that. I did hear of some things about her, you know, locking up, you know, a lot of minorities and stuff like that. But, you know, for me, like I said before, just the immigration bill and what she did as far as Attorney General in the state of California, fighting for those people, the downtrodden people and immigrants in that state. You know, that's one of the things that kind of swayed me towards her. And listen, there's no such thing as a perfect candidate,
right,
on either side. You know, you pick out things, again, we'll go back to the earlier conversation. You pick out things from each person's platform that you agree with, popular, and that's not popular, and you just try to size it up. And for me, that was my pick from the very beginning. Again, I'm still doing some research on Kamala, some of the things that I do know about her and everything. But for me, I'm good. I'm going to stay more with the pro, with Kamala.
And you still voting down ticket?
Yes, sir.
That's Democrat.
Absolutely.
Right. Crooner.
I'm not touching Kamala or Biden as far as their record. I'm not doing that. I'm gonna vote strictly Democrat because they both got some stuff, man, that don't shake well. And I'm in the belief that when we have discussions like this, we got to be careful because we don't know who's listening and how we can sway people to think otherwise. But they got some rough history, man.
Mm-hmm.
They really do when it comes to us, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I can understand when they talk about hold the vote. But I'm not going to do it. But they records, man, they got some stain on their record. Just like you said, there's nobody out there, no perfect candidate. But I'm going for the ticket. I'm going Democratic ticket all the way down, man. Because Democrats are the ones that help people. I believe in helping people, you know. I don't believe in the upper echelon, you know. I'm better than you. No, that's BS. We all here together, man, you know. We all got.
I mean, in each party, I mean, the record of each candidate they've done in the past. But do we walk around and hold that because of, do we base our vote? Again, we have to base everything on their past, right? But we can't hold it against them for their future because the future's unknown, right? So you have to move forward. You just can't say, you know, those are different people than it might have been 8 years ago or 4 years ago or 12 years ago. So do you just stick on that and just say, well, for this reason? You can't do that. You got to look towards the future. You got to look towards.
But Edwin, but with that logic, with based on your logic, right? Trump, the people are going to say, based on your logic, that's why they're going to continue to vote for Trump based on your logic.
That's
it's
his
not
base.
About us trying to. It's not about a. No, it's not. No, it's not just his base is voting for him. It's not about. We as a people have to be more informed.
Absolutely.
What the candidate is offering you individually, because no one on this call can personally tell me how 8 years of President Obama affected them personally.
Absolutely.
There was a personal touch. How did you? The only issue that I had in those 8 years was the fact that my kids could stay on my insurance till they were 26. But people in office never affected. The Bushes didn't affect me. Clinton didn't affect me. Reagan didn't affect me. George Bush Sr. didn't affect me personally. So I'm saying that those down ballots that E was talking about, that is important. Think about what you just talked about, what Kev the comedian was just talking about. How many judges is going to change the way we are perceived for the next 30 to 40 years? Put your personal feelings aside about how and what they stood for, because I don't believe that they changed the way Edwin believes. I believe Joe Biden's the same person he was in 1977. All right, period. However, I don't need any more Republican judges in the Pennsylvania Supreme Court or in the district level. We have to stop this nonsense.
So, Mr. Marina Comedy, you look like you got something to say.
Oh no, we in California with Kamala, whatever her name is. But my thing with her, man,
Kamala,
she had a job to do, and she put people in the jail, and that's what she did. Okay, maybe all her decisions wasn't good, but again, when I look at the big picture, is what I'm looking at. Who gives me the best? Who fits into what I'm trying to accomplish in my life, and what I see is going to benefit us? I'm okay with it. I don't have a problem with her. You know what I mean? I think, granted, she's made some mistakes, but you gotta understand how the media works, man. They're gonna focus on all this negativity, and they feed you what they want you to hear. If you want to talk about somebody, do your research about the person. Get a background, find out about them. Don't just take what the media gives you. Okay, they're giving you a small slice of this person.
Snippet.
That's all they're giving you. And it's depending on who's telling the story, the narrative, if it's positive or negative. Right. You got to do your own due diligence. It's like don't read a book about Malcolm X. Read the autobiography and read the unauthorized, and then come to the middle. And that's where you come up with the best decision. I don't take one little snippet about Biden and one thing about, I don't do that. I try to do my due diligence. And when I look at the big package, the big picture is what I'm looking at, that's my best option. Yeah. Is a vote Democrat on this one. Because I know when I see a black man and a white man go up for the same charges with the same judge for armed robbery, and that white man gets 3 years,
different outcome,
and the black man gets 20, the exact same crime, the exact same background, and this is what's happening to us. And if we don't vote the right way, this will continue to happen to us. And it's going to affect us for the next 30 and our kids. Yeah. So we owe it to them, man. So whoever fits what you looking for, that's who you vote for.
Right. We owe it to Breonna Taylor too.
We absolutely owe it to that young lady, man. We absolutely.
Yeah. Baller, what's your thoughts on that? Kamala, pros and cons, if any.
Well, actually, the preacher did speak on the mass incarcerations of black men. Which. When we actually do a little homework, there is a large percentage that should not be incarcerated, if not, at least not for the amount of time they have been incarcerated. So that is one of the biggest things that stands out when you actually look at her record, is those mass incarcerations, but then, even though that's so high on when you look at her record, you look to the other side of her record, the pros. There's a lot of things that she does for women, she does for minorities, she does for children. There's a lot of things, and just like the Kev was saying, it's like what fits you. They may not directly impact you, but at some point in time, it's going to impact your children. So I got to look out for these, my kids that I'm looking out for, making sure when they finish college, they'll have something. You know what I'm saying? Even though, you get these things saying Trump is doing this and he's going to do that. And I'm like, I'm like, it's too much of a negative for this man to say, all right, he still fits my agenda or what I need for me and my family so when I'm gone, I know they'll be okay. I mean, my kids are gonna be okay regardless, but it's like it's just like back in the 1960s when we were all kids, our parents had an uphill battle. You know what I'm saying? At some point in time, it has to level off.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But to me, that input that she's going to have on Biden, and again, I still feel there will be some consulting with Obama, to keep, even though, I'm sorry?
Absolutely. I believe that.
Even though, you get a lot of people say, well, what did, and I think the preacher said it himself one time, well, what did Obama actually do for the black man?
Mm-hmm.
To me, it's always going to be a political game. I've sat in a room of senators, lawyers, and I just sat there and listened and watched. So I know the intricate stuff that they talk about. So I know it's a game because I have to play. With some of the jobs that we all have, we have to play a political game.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? To get to that next level where we want to be. Sometimes it's somebody else that's been in that Democratic area for longer than you. So you got to wait your turn. So it's always something give and take when it comes to this politics thing. I don't like playing it. Really sometimes it kicked me in my ass, but I had to play it.
So let me say this, right? Politics at a high level, right? So I can talk about Kamala. I'm just gonna, but we kind of segued into the topic of, preacher said, what has the president actually done for you? Correct me if I'm wrong, Donald, but essentially you're saying, hey, listen, how have you been impacted directly, right? So I believe personally that at a presidential level, there is more impact at a federal, a federal level, right? Things are being rolled out on a federal level. And there is some impact, you think about the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act when Obama was in play, right? People were impacted by offering summer youth employment, and you think about individuals not having health care and being directly impacted in that way. However, with that said, a lot of changes and impacts to us really happen on the state and local levels, which we do not go out and vote. Like, we are not super voters. We vote based on presidential elections, and that's typically it. I'm the first to admit I'm not a super voter. I don't go out to every election.
Super voter.
You're good, and that's good to know, bro. Right? Because we need to be more super voters. Super voters meaning we need to go out and vote every election in your community, right? So you can make an impact, not just these high level elections. And that's where the education comes in at. To Donald's point, those are the things that we have to do. So I want to ask you all this here, right? It's 2020. What would you say that individuals, what can we do to help individuals get out and vote, right? Because voting is right around the corner right now. So what can we do to convince people to go out and vote? And I'm not saying, first of all, I'm not telling people who to vote for, although I like them to vote for Biden because I want Trump out of office personally. But if we can get them in the practice of voting, period, what can we do? Donald?
Okay. Yeah. All right. The reason why, all right. So as you know, I'm around a lot of kids. Okay. So one of the things that I've done for my kids that just turned 18 is that the conversation was had. Are you registered to vote? If you're not registered to vote, let's get on that. I'm not telling you who to vote for, but I'm telling you, you have a responsibility as soon as you turn 18 to make sure you're registered to vote. And one of the other tools that I use is I tell them that you have to investigate. Don't just, I'm not Democratic just because my grandma was Democratic and my grandfather was Democratic and my great-grandma was Democratic, because truth be told, the Republican Party prior to the 60s, KKK came from the Democratic Party. So let's keep it real. Mm-hmm. So I'm a Democrat because the people on the Democratic side have values closer to my values. And I don't go to the same bank that my grandparents went to because of all the fees, right? So we as a people, we have to evolve. And if we as a people, if we don't evolve, and if we don't, and tell our kids, I have 3 kids. Y'all know I have 2 biological and my adopted son. Every single one of them in this house, when they turn 18, show me your registration card. When it was time to vote, I made sure they knew where the polling place was. I was the judge of elections. I worked at the polls for 5 years. So I knew all the little intricacies about the polling, about the mail-in ballots. And I also stressed about what they're trying to do, what Trump is trying to do with voter suppression. Everything that he's doing in the Republican Party is about voter suppression. So get out there and vote, and tell all your other 18-year-olds to register to vote. It's your duty. And lastly, one of the things that I've been emphasizing, or the kids that have graduated and are graduating, if you really want to change the way things are viewed, get into politics. That way you can make a difference. You want to go run for a city council seat if you are tired of the way the Philadelphia school district is running things. So that's all. That's my take on it.
Baller, you gonna say something?
No, that was his name is Isaiah Thomas.
He's in North Philly, right?
Exactly. He did that.
Yes, he did.
That exact same thing.
And he making a big difference, I hear, down there in Philly.
Yeah, he actually is.
19133 is his zip code. That North Philly section right there by Joe Frazier's gym? He's doing major things down there.
Right.
So, Baller, what is your, what would you go and say to individuals out there about voting this year? Like, what's your message to them?
Well, actually, how I would get people to vote, is simply, if it was up to me, how to get people to accept. I understand what the preacher was saying, that he speaks to the kids and show me your wrote a voter registration card. Ask them, are you a registered voter? But I think what actually would get people, young-minded people, to vote, if there was not just a purpose, but what is the benefit of me voting? Just like us voting that straight Democratic ticket, these are the benefits of you voting. These are the pros of you voting, period. There's a job. There's going to be benefits if you vote and get these people in office. So it's more, again, I've spoken on other podcasts where it has to be a level of what's going to give me employment and respect. I'm like, if you're telling me that I got a job, if I vote for Ms. Harris or somebody in my city that's going to push employment, I got to vote for them. So my push would to be, because once you get out of high school or college, you want a job. You know what I'm saying? You just don't want to sit home and try to fill out applications and try to figure out what's your next move. That's where you fill out your forms, and then, like I said, you gain employment. This person is going to push employment for you, okay? This person right here is going to push it. This person, like, the preacher was saying, is voter, I'm sorry, what's the word you used again? I'm lost right now.
Suppression, voter suppression.
Voter suppression, you know what I'm saying? So if we're pushing this person is going to give you employment versus this person with the suppression, I got to vote for what's going to work for me, what's going to give me something to hold my head up, because if I don't vote, I'm not going to have a job.
So let me ask this though, but what can you particularly do to get people to vote? Like right now, what action could you take, right? Joe Madison says on Sirius XM radio, I listen to him a lot. He was like, okay, so what are you going to do about it? That's his favorite line. What are you going to do about it? So what can you do? What's that guy?
They call him the Black Eagle.
The Black Eagle. You heard of him. That's right.
Yeah.
So what do you, that's my question to you, fellas. Like, I have to ask myself that question. What am I going to do about it? So I'm curious, what are you going to do about it, Baller, to get people to vote?
I mean, like, to me personally, the only thing I can do, ask my circle and outside of my circle, people I come in contact, are you voting? And just hear what their opinions are. If I get, that's enough for me. Again, I'm not pushing you to vote for Biden, but if you're voting and you're minority, that's enough for me.
Right.
Hey, B-Baller.
Go ahead.
B-Baller, you got young sons, right? So you get your sons and their friends and say, hey, listen, guess what we're getting ready to do? We're going to go out, we're going to get in the car, we're going to go to the polls, and we're going to vote, and then we're going to go get a grub. I've actually picked up some elderly people in my neighborhood and drove them to the polls during COVID, waited in my car, they came back out, and I made sure they got home safe.
Well, in prior to now, I have picked up people and taken them to the polls. You know, I've have done that. You know, but that to me, that was a duty. You know, me getting a phone call, Barry, can you do this? A, B, and C, not a problem. Right. You know, but me personally is actually reaching out to, like I said, the youth and the people I talk to on a daily basis. You know, all y'all voting, you know, and unfortunately, I had one brother that I've known from high school that said he's going to hold his vote. God. And he couldn't give me a reason why. Yeah. Couldn't give me a reason why, except for I don't like either one of those guys. That was it. And it was mind-boggling to me because I wanted him on this podcast. Yeah. And he wouldn't respond back to me.
We wanted a lot of people.
I blocked him anyway after that because it's a rat.
Yeah, we want a lot of people on this podcast. Hey, Mr. Eugene, talk to me.
What you got, brother?
So what's the question is?
What am I gonna do?
Yes, sir.
You know, I got 3 Facebook pages, and I have 2 fan pages. So my goal is I was going to start this week is every day I'm going to post something about just voting. Like you said, I'm not trying to get you to vote for somebody. I know I'd like you to vote for, but I think we need to get into the practice of voting. Get used to it. Get out there and vote. Just remember again, the last vote was lost by a few thousand, 100,000 votes, man. Right. And if we just get the people out there, so whatever you got, whatever platform you got, just put it out there. Vote. Just something every day to just say vote. And that's what I'm going to put out on Facebook every day. Something that's going to say just go vote. Rather you mailing it in, but see, for me, I got to go vote. I physically want to stand in. I don't give a damn if the line is 8 hours. I'm going to stand in line and I'm going to vote because I want to know that my vote counted. I want to know that it got where it's supposed to be, not this nonsense. So I'm going to go and I'm going to be in line. I don't care. And if people need to get there, I'm going to give them a ride. But I'm going to do everything in my power to get this man out of office. Let me just be honest.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I mean, I am passionate about it. 4 years ago, I had no dog in this fight. Let me be honest about it. I gave the man the benefit of the doubt. But I watch how he treats our people. I watch how he's disrespectful to prominent black leaders. What he did to Lewis and people like that, man. Right. This man is disrespectful in every word to me as a black man. Mm-hmm. And as a military man who fought for this country and our freedoms. And I see what he's doing to our military, what he's doing to our judicial system. I'm saying all this, he's making a mockery out of this, man. And I can't let it happen. Right. So I'm going to do my part.
Right.
So every day on my Facebook page, you're going to see something that says vote. I promise you that. Yeah. I'll make it a point. It's going to happen.
No, I appreciate that, man. Oh, so what you going to do, man?
Well, I'm just going to have a conversation. I had a conversation. I've had it with my son. He, even though he was a Bernie Sanders supporter, and because his candidate didn't push through, I keep making sure I tell him, make sure you're registered and vote. You got to have the conversation with your family. The thing with young people is, in this age when they'll stand in line for Jordans, whatever sneakers are being released, and they press buttons for certain downloads, they can find a time to go out here and do something that's going to benefit them. Because if you don't vote, you don't have a voice. And there's everything around us. You actually think about it. Everything around us is based on who we have in office, from our schoolyards to our school system, to the policing. Okay, again, it goes back to, this movement that's being created out here as far as Black Lives Matters and everything like that. Listen, if you want to make a difference and you see that things are wrong, protesting is fine, but the biggest protest is your vote. That's the biggest protest that you can have. And for me, I'm just going to continue to have the conversation with young people that I run across, also in my family, because let's face it, it's not always just the young people. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's the elderly that are they're set in their ways, and I can't. This person. Listen, have the conversation. I think once you have the conversation and you repeatedly tell them, listen, you got to vote, because if you don't vote, you can't continuously piss and moan about it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And your vote does count. So, you know, we got to get that wide scope of young, old, you know, black, white, whoever we run across, male, female, and just tell them it is important. This election right here, it's very, every election is important, but this one right here makes a difference. So without a vote, you don't come to me crying and pissing and moaning about that schoolyard, about your child's, you know, where he's going to school, or that traffic light, or that street being broken up, you know what I mean? Or my son got pulled over by a police officer yesterday because he was black. Listen, go out here and vote, man. Just go out here and vote. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to talk about it.
Word.
Hey, fact check it real quick before I got this is on my mind. I got to say this real quick. Listen, this man also said he won't leave office peacefully.
Yeah.
This man is setting up this country for a civil war.
That's why we need to get him out of the office.
That's why we need to get. I had to bring that. It was in my. I couldn't let that get by, man.
Yeah, I appreciate that. That's why we need to get him out of the office.
You got to understand, the FBI works on a different level if something like that occurs, because you have domestic and foreign
terrorism.
So terrorism. So at that point in time, he's a domestic terror because he won't leave office.
And don't forget, the military will not follow him once he's out of office.
Yeah,
he no longer has control of them, and they have to do what they got to do.
Exactly.
So you can get crazy if you want to.
Yeah, exactly. You better call the Proud Boys.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Doc, go ahead. What you gonna do about voting, bro?
You know, all the young people that's involved with or are able to vote, I'm just going to grab them and tell them, like, yo, we got to come up here and vote. You just have to vote. It's all about communication and then showing them what the process is going to become if they do vote.
Right.
So you just have to go out and vote. I mean, I can piggyback off of all y'all. You know, we're all saying the same thing. So, I mean, we just have to show and tell these kids how valuable it is for them to go out there and vote.
What are you going to do?
Just have to go out and vote.
What are you personally going to do about it?
Like I just said, I'll go out there and grab a child or grab some kids, and just like if they're of age, and you know, tell them like, yo, are you registered? Ask the questions, communicate with them. The reason why you have to vote, and letting them know how important it is to vote. So it could be prominent for you later on in life.
Word. Crooner.
I was thinking, I just like Kevin said, I can go on Facebook and announce you got to vote. You got to vote, and just what you got to do, man. You know, and you know when you mentioned earlier about the local elections, I'm voting on everything. I vote on everything, and what makes me so proud is that
You're a super voter too.
Yeah, what make me so proud is that we emphasize it to our family. Me and Cindy, the kids vote. We go as a family to the polls and vote.
That's beautiful.
You know, and I love that. I love that. And like you said, we might go get something to eat afterwards, you know, but we go as a family to vote. And I know my son, you know, Mallory, he's a talker. I call him the mayor of Temecula. Just you know, people about politics. He's out there, man. Like
he like Donald. He like Donald is what he like. He is Donald. He like you when it comes to politics, boy.
Something else.
So let me say this, y'all. Let me say this. This is what I'm planning to do. First of all, I think everybody should get out and vote. My plan is, and my way to really massage this message is to capture each one of y'all in a video, as well as myself saying, hey, listen, please get out and vote. So I'm going to work with all of y'all, and we're going to do kind of a one-on-one, like small video where, you know, you basically telling people to go out and vote. And, you know, I'll massage the video and then you can drop it in your Facebook page. You know what I mean? Or drop it wherever you want to, but I'm going to do that, and I'm going to go out and tell people to go out and vote. I think that's a good way that each of us is saying, you know, hey, listen, get out there and vote. And my intent is to kind of push it, you know, for the remaining weeks, you know, just keep pushing those get out and vote videos, right? That's super important. And so, you know, I'll be putting something on the calendar for all of y'all for us to get together and do that so we can really talk about what that looks like. But I think that's a great way to get the message out. I need to talk to my son, make sure he's registered and ready to go. I know he's registered. I need to make sure he's ready to go, right? And get him there along with others. But, you with that, man, any last comments on voting, gentlemen, before we wrap this up? I mean, this is a good topic. I mean, we could really get into a lot more. We could surely do some bashing. Donald for the entire episode has been hold up some Miami cards, man. What you got? What you got there, Donald? What you trying to say?
No, this is yet again, and I'll save this for after the recording. I'm gonna prove to my man right here that Dan Marino is a supporter of 45.
Allegedly.
That's my agenda.
All right. Hey, listen. Any other comments, fellas, at all on this topic?
Hey, I think this is the most important election of our lifetime.
Agree.
I sincerely believe that. And if we're going to make change, it starts with this one right here.
Agree.
It has to be, man. We have to show unity. We need to get out here. We need to get everybody out here to vote. We got to do it.
If you don't vote, you don't have a voice.
Thank you.
Agree. Let your voice be heard.
Don't complain, like you said. Don't complain. If you don't vote, don't complain about nothing. Just shut up.
So with that, listen. My name is Eric the Fact Checker. I'm here with my brothers. We wholeheartedly agree that everyone needs to get out and vote right now. Like, this is a life-changing moment for us. And so please get out and vote. Listen, we're not trying to tell you how to vote. We just want you to vote, right?
Hold on, Fact Checker. Before we leave, I got to say this right now while the brothers is here. Tomorrow's a special day. It's my brother's Eric's birthday, and I just want us to go out and just say a happy birthday to the Fact Checker for tomorrow.
Brother Pecan.
Fact checker.
And that's
FAT.
FAT, right? I'll be messing that up.
Yeah, Don.
Yo, happy birthday, bro.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, E.
I appreciate
Happy
that. Brother.
birthday, bro.
Hey,
Yeah, I
hey,
appreciate it.
Croner, I go to the polls with
No,
my.
he ain't no song, dog. I ain't singing no man.
Nah, don't be singing to me, bro.
Well, you went to a winery.
That's why I got my wife in here. Okay?
Hey, I want to say this happy birthday, Croner. I think it's great that your family goes to the polls. I would go with my family too, but I can't find my dad.
Yeah. He's still been missing since COVID.
He in Philly. He wasn't in Philly last time I checked. To be honest, right?
So listen. That's enough for us.
Yeah,
Listen, we love y'all.
As soon as you make the millions, he gonna show up.
He goes, yeah.
Share, like, comment, subscribe. We love you. Check us out. We out.
Y'all be good, man. Good to see everybody, man.
All right.